Crafting a solid retro platforming game can be challenging. Indie games have explored this genre and many awesome games have been created because of that. Today, I'm going to talk to you about an indie game that manages to nail a solid retro platforming experience with some really nice visuals, music, and gameplay. Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy and this is my non-spoiler review for Everblade for PC on Steam. Everblade was developed and published by Elion Games. Everblade follows the story of a nameless protagonist who is one of the survivors of a village that was attacked by an evil mage that wants to conquer the world. The village had a guardian who was killed by the mage who took one of his horns. The other horn transforms into a magical blade and is given to the main character of the story. It is now your job to find the evil mage and stop him. This game narrates its story with an intro cutscene where you see the premise of the game play out. After that, the story develops through character dialogues and lore books that you find scattered throughout the worlds that you visit. Everblade's story manages to serve its purpose, but it ends up feeling a little bit simple and generic. In terms of visuals, Everblade goes for a retro look of an 8-bit or 16-bit game. Each world has different themes and design. You will travel through forests, castles, cemeteries, among many other environments with some very nice details. This game goes for a fantasy setting with a diverse monster compendium ranging from your typical skeletons with all of their variations to frogs, spiders, skulls, zombies, etc. Boss designs are simple but get the job done. In what regards to the specs of the game has some very low spec requirements and it ran at a consistent 60 FPS with no frame drops whatsoever. So let's talk about the music of this game. Just like its visuals, Everblade features a retro-style game soundtrack that perfectly fits an 8-bit or 16-bit game. There are some really nice tracks that serve to create atmosphere in each world that you visit. Not only does each world has its own distinct music, each boss has its own song too. Each track is really good and pleasant to hear throughout your entire playthrough. In what regards to the gameplay, Everblade is described as a varied platformer, meaning that it has platforming, but it also features combat and some light puzzle solving and exploration. Your character can jump, crouch, attack with his blade, throw up to 3 projectiles that have a cooldown time, and you can wall jump too. Everblade's control are very responsive and feel very good. You have HP and MP because you will acquire abilities that use magic points. You can acquire new abilities for your sword by upgrading it with ingots that you find in the game. These abilities use MP and are optional. You also find blue coins throughout the game that you can use to purchase different skills that can enhance your character even more. Finally, as you play, you will pick up treasure, which is the currency of the game, and that you can use to buy consumable items. Everblade features around 9 stages, over a dozen bosses, collectibles in the form of the ingots, blue coins, lore books, and special skeleton chests that have treasure and skeleton coins. These coins can be used to play special bonus challenges for a reward. In terms of its structure, you go to each world through portals that you access from the hub area. In the hub area, there's a blacksmith who is the one who upgrades your sword, a merchant that sells you the consumables, and another character that sells you the skills for the blue coins. This hub area also features some secrets that you can unlock by exploring. After the first 4 stages, the game changes quite a bit. Around 5 more stages open up, and in those levels you will find elemental upgrades that will affect the way you use your sword and will allow for some interesting puzzle solving and changes in how you platform in the game. Those later stages feature some different elements that changes the gameplay dynamic enough as for it to feel like a substantial change and to spice things up. Everblade is a short game that should last you around 5 to 6 hours to complete depending on how fast or slow you play. The game features 2 difficulty settings, normal and hard, and the normal difficulty is fun and not excessively challenging. As long as you play carefully and learn the boss's patterns, the game is fun and easy to play through. So let's talk about the cons and the pros of this game. In what regards to the cons, first of all, you have to buy every skill and they are expensive. Every skill in this game has to be bought. You don't acquire them through exploration. This in itself is not a problem, it's just a game design. But sadly, in this game, the skills are very expensive. My problem with this is that if you want the upgrades, you're gonna have to be very thorough in your exploration of each stage. And even then, you will have to play quite a few stages before you are able to buy the skills, meaning that you could go through the entire game without ever buying one skill if you don't invest enough time finding the blue coins. Finally, to me, the last critique is that the story is too generic. I usually would not criticize this in a game like this because I can see that the story is not the focus of this game. However, considering the distinct visuals, setting, and bits of lore that the game has, it's a shame that the story feels generic. I wish more time was spent in giving the narrative of the game a unique feel so that it didn't feel like every other fantasy game ever. In what regards to the strong points of the game, I would have to say that the strongest point of this game is the visuals and the music. Even though Everblade has a very generic story, the visuals and the music do the heavy lifting, making the game feel unique. The animations, the stage design, and the monster and character design all look really good. The music is entertaining and helps you to connect with the retro feel that the game is going for, and it all comes together to give you a really awesome experience. In conclusion, Everblade isn't trying to reinvent the retro platformer formula. It just wants to offer the player a solid gameplay experience with some retro visuals and music, and it succeeds at that. The way you acquire your skills is one of its main flaws because it disincentivizes players who are not interested in exploring every nook and cranny of the stages and that are just here to enjoy the experience. Besides this, the generic story hold back what could have been a really outstanding game. However, because of its awesome visuals and music and fun and solid gameplay, I recommend Everblade. So I hope you guys enjoyed this non-spoiler review. The link to the game's page is in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Hi everyone, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our content.